Hello, this is the third part of the John and Crane story. There's some dialogue in this, and I get really confused myself when I'm reading it, so, because it's really, like, raw writing, and I'm gonna have this sock puppet represent Crane when she's talking, and this one represent John when he's talking, so it might make more sense, because I can't change my voices that much. Okay, here goes. John felt somewhat sad as he and Crane left the coffee shop that evening. It meant that he would have to leave. John didn't know that was why he was sad, and he wasn't too sure that he was sad in the first place. Nonetheless, as the pair stepped out into the brisk, late afternoon air, taking in the cool breeze and surveying the street before them, John frowned. "What's the matter?" "Nothing to fret about," hurriedly stated John. "But I'm curious. I think I'm going to be lonely again." "What?" Crane questioned. I think I'm not looking forward to going home. I had a lovely time. I've never met a person like you." "What do you mean?" "I mean, of all the people I know, they're the same as me, the same as almost everyone. They don't look at the world the way you do. I can tell just by talking with you. Look, I barely even know you." "So?" Crane asked. "So, it's not important. Just that you're the first person that has understood me the way you do. Do you understand what I mean now?" "Yes. No. Sort of. Look, John. That's my name." "Thank you, John. So, John, I'm Crane. That name is perfect." "John is a nice name too, you know." Crane was blushing. "I suppose, Crane. Well, thank you for such a nice day. I'll remember it. Someday I hope to see you again." "Same here, John." "Goodbye." John's voice cracked a little bit. "Goodbye, my lonely pattern boy." After those somewhat awkward yet somehow deeply meaningful words, John and Crane departed. John went right, Crane went left. John went home to his generic apartment, where instead of going about routine and his precious patterns, John sat down at his 1 to 2 person table, sipping on a lukewarm cup of peppermint tea and staring at his blank, artless, cream-colored walls. John had never stopped smiling. He never thought of his patterns that night. He never thought to work or anything that had to do with his normal life. His thoughts were devoted solely to Crane and the way she could make anything she said into beautiful poetry. When John went to sleep that night, he did not cry for the first time in 17 years. He slept steadily with a slight smile across his lips. Crane walked. She walked and walked. She walked for many miles until she came to her makeshift home between some dead bushes and the walls of an old apartment building. It was almost midnight when Crane finally retired to her beaten and bedraggled nest of blankets. It was close to fall, so the nights were starting to get colder. Crane huddled up into a ball and buried her face in a dirty pillowcase. She inhaled slowly. She thought about John. Unconsciously, Crane smiled. She thought John was an interesting man, despite what he thought of himself. She knew that though he sometimes forgot who he was, he had an unusual outlook on life. He was very creative, though quite cautious about it. So very cautious that even he himself didn't realize the length of his creativity. John was so convinced that he was a nobody that he was scared to act any different than his own idea of himself. Crane smiled. She liked people who didn't realize their own potential. It made it all the more fun to be with them once they did. Ever with a slight smile, Crane slowly slipped into slumber. Okay, that was part 3. There's a lot more to go. I really doubt anybody is watching this, but if you are, could you please give feedback or something? I know it's kind of like the first couple of days I've been doing this, but I really... yeah, thank you.